Good morning, everyone. From me, Brent Graham. It's stage 2 of the Tour de France today, and we'll be having a look at my bets for that stage a little bit later. Just a reminder that World Sports Betting do have a refund for second place, so you can get your stake back if your man runs second, and that could be very relevant today. You'll see with my bets all actually taken at World Sports Betting. But before we do that, let's take a look back at yesterday's stage here. The current standings: we've got Adam Yates leading ahead of his brother Simon Yates, with Pogacar, who of course picked up that 4-second bonus in third. A reminder, you can subscribe to our weekly betting newsletter down below, and also please, if you enjoy the show, hit the subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps the channel a lot. But back to the cycling, we had Yates, the two Yates brothers, pulling clear over that final climb, and then there was some fascinating what would you call them, nuances after that as to who would chase and whether team should chase, that type of thing. And we'll get into that in just a second. But brilliant from Yates. I actually thought at one stage Yates was going to lead his brother Simon out, but in fact Adam just had stronger legs and rode away to the win. But an excellent stage, and one that certainly got the Grand Tour going in some style. There's 3 questions or discussion points I'd like to have a quick look at. The first is Wout van Aert, the only of the heavy sprinters to make it over that final climb. He was in the chase group, which obviously had his leader Vingegaard in as well. Should Van Aert have tried to chase the Yates down to stop him gaining any time? For me, the answer to that is no. I think they did exactly the right thing. Van Aert waited at the back. If the Yates brothers were caught, he obviously could have sprinted to the victory. But if he had chased Yates down, then all that probably would have happened is Pogacar would have taken the 10-second bonus for the stage win. So I think 100% correct tactics by Jumbo-Visma there. But that brings us to the next question then. Yates' win, is it good or bad long-term for UAE? Certainly short-term, it's great. Takes a lot of pressure off them as far as having a stage win in the bank goes and wearing the yellow jersey. But you don't really want to wear the yellow jersey necessarily this early in the tour. Although it's not Pogacar himself who's got the jersey, it is one of his teammates, and there are certain obligations there. At the same time, though, so I'm saying in that sense, perhaps not the best that they've got the yellow jersey, and that was one of the reasons why I thought Yates might actually be leading his brother out. I thought they might actually prefer Simon to get yellow. But at the same time, you'd have to say that it does send a message to Jumbo-Visma that UAE are going to use this two-prong attack of Yates and Pogacar. And while I think that Vingegaard was correct in letting Yates go yesterday, any time that Yates can get at this stage will put a little bit more pressure on Jumbo-Visma down the line. And just, although may turn out to be nothing, I don't think it's a bad thing that he won the stage. A bit of a sort of a mixed thing then. Overall, the fact that you won a stage, I guess, could never be too bad. And just the third thing, this man finished 6th on the stage. Victor Lafay, what a ride. Then he was dueling with the 2 big boys of the Tour de France, and he even attacked them at one point. Now, I actually thought his attack had quite a good chance of success because of the fact that the other 2 wouldn't want to, pull each other along to him. But he was chased down in the air. But what a great ride. I haven't heard of him before. I don't know him very well. I'm not one of these guys who follow cycling all year long. What an excellent ride. Definitely one for the notebook. Let's get into stage 2 now. And we've got a 208.9 kilometer stage ending in Saint Sebastian and starting in Vitoria-Gasteiz. And this is quite an interesting profile. It's another one that, it's very different to yesterday in the sense that yesterday's was always leaning towards a climber winning it. I mean, it was very unlikely that a sprinter of any sort was going to make it over that final climb. Only Van Aert did in the end. But this is a bit different. We've got a fairly flattish stage. We've got a sprint, which will no doubt be hotly contested. But what is going to happen with the break? I think we'll get a break going fairly quickly. I don't think it's going to take a long time to form. And I think once again, we're going to get probably this time, I think even maybe less riders, maybe 4 or 5 guys going off there. Yesterday, I predicted 5, 6, which was pretty close. But I just don't think that the teams that do fancy the stage are going to want a strong break to go away. And they're going to be able to control that break in the early stages. As you can see, quite a few climbs. We've got a Cat 3, a Cat 4, another Cat 3, a 4, and a 2. None of these climbs particularly long. 4.5 kilometers is the longest of those opening 4 climbs. And the gradients are all, the sort of gradients that you could put sprinters under pressure if you really went for it. But there'll certainly be no need for it at that stage. It'll be pretty much written tempo as they try to chase down the break. But then we get to the key point of the stage. So the Jazgebal. Yeah, it's 8.1 kilometers at 5.3%. And you'll see that is actually a little bit of almost a descent, sort of flattening out at one point. So that 5.3% is probably a little bit misleading. There's some really steep sections of this climb. And you'll see that by the time you get to the bottom of the climb, you're inside the last 10 kilometers. So the big question is, can the sprinters actually hold on over this climb? And I suppose a lot's going to depend on, how the race has panned out to that stage. But it's certainly another very, very interesting stage. But I'll take you through my bets now. Now, all of them are taken with World Sports Betting, and that is because of the money back for second place, because this is the sort of stage, I think, particularly my first bet, where I'm backing the favourite Van Aert at 3-1. Only a unit on him, but I've got to say that he must be the rider to beat here. He's certainly going to get over that final climb. In fact, he might even attack on the final climb. I would say he's got to probably watch someone like a Mathieu van der Poel attacking on that climb. But if Van der Poel goes, I expect Van Aert to go with him. So there's a number of scenarios that I can see Van Aert winning this stage. I think at 3-1, I'm going to have a little bit of a play on him now. He certainly is a worthy favourite, although I'm not going to get carried away, because as yesterday showed, anything can happen in the Tour de France. Right, that's my first bet, Van Aert. I'm then going for Philipsen. Now, Philipsen, he's as short as 10-1 at Sunbet, but Bet Exchange and World Sports Betting have got 33-1. And so I'm pretty convinced then it's not an error. Well, I'm hopeful that it's not an error. I'm going for half a unit on Philipsen at 33-1. Obviously, this final climb is not going to be easy for him to get over, but he has improved his climbing quite a lot. I've been quite impressed with him in the recent times I've watched him. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if there's just a small gap to the guys in front at the top, he's certainly got every chance of getting back on. And if he does, well, he probably would be the fastest in the sprints finish. So speculative half a unit play there. And then I couldn't resist. I was quite impressed with Gamay yesterday. I had that 7-1. He'd run into the top 10. He didn't manage to hang in over that final climb, but he was thereabouts. He was probably the second last sprinter to be dropped. Well, the last sprinter to be dropped, because Van Aert, of course, wasn't dropped. And I'm going to go for him again. This is certainly a stage that should suit him as well. He should get over that final climb, and he's got plenty of speed, perhaps even enough speed to trouble Wout van Aert. So I'm going for him at 14-1. Once again, all three of these bets are taking advantage of the second place promo. Anyways, it's been a sort of early start to the Sunday morning for me after a very big day with the Tour de France and the Durban July. But I'll be back probably Sunday night with my preview of Stage 3. Till then, enjoy the tour, and if you're placing any bets, I hope you hit those bookmakers hard.